Okay, today we're talking about a really smart strategy for buying a home. If you want to get a serious competitive edge, but also, protect your savings in the process, then you're going to want to stick around for this. Let's get right into it.
So here's the classic problem, right? You've found the house you love, you have to convince the seller you're for real so they'll take it off the market for you, but at the same time, you're not about to risk a huge pile of cash before you've even had a chance to do an inspection. How do you square that circle?
Well, the secret really lies in how you handle something called the earnest money deposit, or EMD for short. So first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page about what this actually is. Think of earnest money as your way of saying, hey, I'm serious, I really want to buy your house, and here's some money to prove it. It's basically a commitment that gets the seller to stop looking for other buyers. But here's the key. Instead of one big, scary payment, we're going to talk about splitting it into two smart steps.
And that brings us to step one of this whole strategy, the initial deposit. I like to think of this as your low-risk opening move. It's all about just getting your foot in the door. So this first deposit has one simple job: get the house under contract and off the market. You'll pay it pretty quickly, usually within a day or two of your offer being accepted. But, and this is the most important part, the risk level here is low. Because you're still in your inspection period, if you find something terrible and need to back out, you can almost always get this money back.
And we're not talking about a huge, scary number here. This initial deposit is usually a pretty manageable flat fee. Think something like $2,500, maybe 1% of the price. It's just enough to show you're serious, but not so much that you're having nightmares before you even see the inspection report.
All right, so let's say the inspection's done, everything looks good, and you're feeling confident about moving forward. Now it's time to show the seller you're all in. This is where step two comes into play, the additional deposit.
The whole point of this second payment is to put more skin in the game, as they say. And the timing is everything. You only pay this after you've officially waived your big protections, like the inspection contingency. And because of that, the risk level jumps way up. Once this second deposit is in, it's a whole lot harder to get it back if you decide to walk away.
And this is where the dollar amount gets a lot more real. With the second payment, you're usually bringing your total deposit up to a common target, like 3% of the home's price. So on a $500,000 house, your total deposit is now $15,000. That's a serious number, and it gives the seller a ton of confidence that you're actually going to close the deal.
Now, you might be listening to this and thinking, okay, this sounds fantastic for me as the buyer, but why would any seller go for it? That's what makes this strategy so smart. It's not some trick you're pulling. It's actually a win-win that creates a safer, more transparent deal for everybody involved.
Let's just break it down. For you, the buyer, it's all about security and flexibility. You lock up the house without putting your life savings on the line before you've even checked under the hood. Now, for the seller, they get a buyer who becomes more and more committed as you clear each hurdle. And if you bail at the very last minute, they get a much larger payment for their trouble. It just builds trust and makes the whole process feel more balanced.
Okay, so this whole strategy works beautifully, but you absolutely have to know the rules of the road. It all relies on understanding the safeguards and, more importantly, the deadlines. You have to pay attention to the fine print.
First off, and this is probably the biggest relief for most people, let's get one thing straight. When you write that earnest money check, it does not go into the seller's personal bank account. Not at all.
Instead, your money goes into what's called an escrow account. This account is held by a totally neutral third party, usually a title company or a lawyer. Think of them as the referee. They hold on to the money and only release it based on the exact rules of your contract. If the deal goes through, it just gets applied to your down payment. Simple as that.
So here it is. The one thing you absolutely cannot forget: your deadlines are everything. Your protection, your ability to get that deposit back, it is all tied to what are called contingency periods. If your contract gives you 10 days to do inspections and back out, you have exactly 10 days. If you miss that deadline by even an hour, that second larger deposit could legally belong to the seller. This strategy gives you incredible power and safety, but only if you stay on top of your game. The real question is, are you ready to be that buyer?